Hi, this is a second part of the tutorial how to create advanced lucky wheel, in which I will write a verse code to control our wheel spinning and reward player. If you still haven't watched the first part, I suggest to do it now, because I will start with already prepared wheel and material. As always, all my source files are available for visionary supporters on my Patreon, link in the description of the video. So let's begin. Okay, first let's add item granter. And let's add button. I will use conditional button. Somewhere on the level with the head of the player. In here, let's set our interaction yes. Interaction time I will set 0. You can set whatever you want. This is not important. Consume key item, yes. So first key item I will set to gold. Again, you can choose whatever you want. And I will set to 1. This is your price there. Reset delay, we don't care about that. We'll reset in verse anyways. Interaction text, this is again up to you what you want to write there. Visible during game, yes. Maybe in your case, maybe you don't want. Enable on game start, yes. Okay, so should be fine. Then item granter, this is important. So now instead of using 16 item granters, we can use just only one, and we can choose what item, basically by index, which to reward to the player. And this is significant advantage because we will have a lower impact on the memory in a game. So grant, we don't want clear inventory, keep all. Grant current item, items. Here I will need to add 16 items. Enable on game start, yes. Triggering player only, yes. Grant condition always. A cube grant item, maybe if you want, I will set it to yes. We don't want to remove it from the granter. We don't want grant on the start. Okay, now let's add 16. And again, that's why in the texture array icons, icons order is really important, because it should basically correspond to same order. So you see index 0, index 1, index 2. Whatever you have in the texture array icon, it should be same weapon in here or item. Okay, let's go into weapons. There's many of them. I will just dock it like that. It will be easier to find. Okay, then I have my sword. Okay, so I have all 16 in here. Everything is ready. Let's create our verse device. Let's double click it. Let's delete that, this, and I'll begin. For now I will set block. I will check if I need to move it. It's basically what you can see. We need to access this. So this is our lucky wheel folder, and this is our path. So this is like prototypes. This is my whole project, and then lucky wheel. What I had previously, that if I'm not putting in the same folder, for example, this lucky wheel folder device, I couldn't access this, so it was erroring. But I will try. If not, so I will just move it, and you can do it just basically here. Okay, so let's start by adding our references for devices. Editable, lucky wheel, and it will be prop. Type creative prop. Then we want our item granter. And we want our conditional button. Then we want how many slots there will be. Basically, we will get a value and we'll pass that to material, so to that rotation parameter. And we want spin it, and it's like reset it. So in my case, it's 16. In your case, maybe different. Now we need to add our material, which we will use. I will call it like you will mi, so material instance. And then at the end, we need material with lowercase. Equal same material. Now serving is basically saying, did you mean like you will? So basically this my folder like you will, and then materials folder. So yes, this is what I want, but let's see if it can access it actually. Yeah, so it basically says like invalid access of internal module. Not sure why or if I'm doing it right or not. What I will do, I will just save. Let's close this one, and I will take this verse device and I will drop it into like you will folder. So move, yes, save. Let's close it just in case, just to resave it properly. And now look, all this error is gone, and I think I can even remove this, or it will, I think it will ask for material, like that, materials. So basically materials folder, and then this is our material. Okay, so we've got that. Now I want to know if a wheel is active or not. Why I want that? Because we're not using just normal button, we're using conditional button. Conditional button, it means that even if I have gold, I pressed, it will eat my gold, but then if wheel is still spinning, it means player won't get anything while we're getting gold from the player. So we're basically scamming player. We don't want that. What we want is basically detect when wheel is active. I want disable conditional button. It means player can't interact with a button at all. So then we'll be fine. And then when wheel stops, we're activating it back. And then I want to store agent who interacts with a button. So maybe agent question mark agent equal false. Okay, so the variable is done. Now let's subscribe to our conditional button and apply this dynamic material to our prop. So let's start with a prop, like you will prop, set material, and in here we're just passing our name of the material. So likey will mi. If you have multiple slots for materials, yeah, on the static mesh, you can specify index. So for example, you can do this and then question mark index with capital index colon equal, and then for example 0, like that. So this is first material in a slot, this is second, yeah, this is third, like that. I have only one, so I don't even need to tell that. And then conditional button activated event type, and we will call function button pressed. Now let's create that function. On button pressed, we need to receive agent, and now we will check if wheel is active. So we will say like if it's not. So with not, we're basically saying if it's not active, then do stuff. And it means if it's active, then do nothing. Set maybe agent equal option agent. Then conditional button disable. So straight away, when user interact with button, we're disabling it. So it means nobody can press it, and then it won't eat gold or whatever that will be set. And now we want to activate our prop. So basically, we're passing information on the loop to material, so it will looping, so we'll spin that wheel, and it means it will be suspense. So we need to use spawn, like you will activate it. Now in here we need, as I said, suspense. So now we activated our wheel, so we're setting wheel active true. Okay, so what I will do is we have rotation number, which will be our material parameter. And then to this material parameter, I want add additional value. And then when it reaches 16, restart from the 0 and so on and so on. And this value is basically will represent speed. So bigger the value we'll add, faster it will spin. But let's say we'll create variable because we want to change it later. So spin speed. This will be float. And in here, I want, instead of specify one number, which will mean that every time wheel will work exactly same. Yeah, because it's not a random. We want random. So let's get random float. And this float, I want between 0.5 and 2. And we want this using random on top. Great. So basically every time when we will use this, when we will just call this function before looping, it will start with a different number. So now loop, to make it not error, I will add sleeps right away at the end. And this is basically will be speed of our loop, how often it will loop. So set will mi, and then dot, and we need to access our material parameter. So I know that this is rotation, and I want plus equal spin speed. Okay, if I will hold control and click, I will get into asset digest, and here is my material, and this is what I can control. So I don't care about this one, I care about this two. So I will control rotation with this, and this one I will need to pass to material when wheel stops. So basically I need to tell which icon should be winning. Okay, so we're controlling speed. Now we will check. Okay, wheel mi rotation is bigger or equal to what I want here. It's basically check how many slots is there and then when to reset, right? Okay, so here will be slots number -1, and because our slots number is integer, okay, so I will multiply it with float 1. Multiplying by 0.1, it will still have same number, but it will be float. And now set, like you will, mi rotation equal 0. So basically resetting it. Now if our speed, so spin speed is larger than 0, we will subtract. So basically we're making our wheel slow down slowly. So set speed minus equal 0.01. So eventually this spin speed will become 0, and because we're using it in here to add to rotation and to spin, this means we'll be adding 0, so it won't anymore rotate. Okay, else, so if spin speed is higher than 0, if it's not, it means it's already 0, so we need basically tell that okay, finish. So else if this will be win slot index and I want to get integer, and I want to round it. So it means, let's say if it's 12.5, it will be 13. If it's 12.4, it will be 12. Okay, so it will round. And we need to use if with a round. Okay, round, then square brackets. Like you will. Then, so will would stop. And if, as I said, if it would be, let's say, 12.5, it would be in between slots. And yes, we could highlight background, show animation, which it's winning. But what I want is basically, if it's 12.5, and I know that this is then rounded to 13, so I want wheel to rotate to that 13. So then slot number 13, it's exactly in front of the player. So I will do that in a separate function. And I will do again spawn, finish rotation, and I will pass win slot index. And I will break. So I will start new loop in here. I will copy that, but I will break this loop. So this function will stop. Let's create that. And now win slot index, it will be integer. And again, we need suspense. Okay, so we will start loop. Again, I will add sleep so we don't see error. And it will be same speed. Now in here, let's check. So if, like you will, mi rotation is bigger than win slot index, and because rotation is float and win slot index it's integer, we need multiply it by again one float. Here I missed I. So if it's larger, then I need set will mi rotation to minus equal 0.01. So basically, if it's larger, so we already means we passed it, so bring it back. And then else, and else it means it's smaller, so then we will just add it. So again, I'm using that, but instead of minus, I will do addition. Okay, we've done that. Now we need to check actually when to stop. So if win slot index multiply again by 1, it's larger or equal. So basically when it's larger than this rotation minus 0.1, because again there could be slight error, so I'm just like adding and subtracting from that. So just create this range because it probably will never be like exactly same numbers. And then and again win slot index is smaller or equal to again this rotation, and then here we need plus 0.1. so we adding to this and we're subtracting to this, and actually again index I need to multiply by one float. So we're now checking in the range instead of precise numbers. Now we need to pass to our material what slot actually is winning. So set key will mi win slot equal, and if you remember from the previous video, I was setting index with additional 1, because on a 0 it means no winning slots at all. So we're starting with a 1, but because here array works from starting with 0, so I will just add 1. So it will be win slot index plus 1, and then multiply by one float, because we need to pass float, not integer. So I'm making from this whatever index was there, I'm just adding 1 and then multiplying to make it float. Okay, so this is working. And then we now need to grant item. So that will be again another function. So on, and we want again pass this index. So win slot index. And I will put this loop to sleep on 5 seconds. Why is that? It's basically, we now send which winning slot is to our material. It means our background will be green and our icon will be scaled and rotating, so basically active. But we don't want it forever, right? What we want is basically reset it after a certain amount of time. So I'm doing this after 5 seconds. You can set longer or less. So after 5 seconds, I want then set lucky wheel mi win slot to 0. So if I'm setting to 0, it means no slots will be active. And after that, we're just breaking this loop again. So let's now create this on reward. So again, this is integer. Now in here, we need to get our agent, because our maybe agent is question mark agent. It's not true agent. So let's agent equal maybe agent question mark. And then now we can deal with item granter. Granter grant item index. And in here we need send agent. So sometimes if you see error, control click won't work sometimes. So now if I'm holding control, click here. So this is what we want. So grant item index. We need to pass agent and we need to pass item index. So let's do this. So we have our agent and index will be our win slot index. So we will grant item. Now we just need to reset everything. So set wheel active and then set maybe agent to false as well. So basically maybe agent, we're clearing that. It will be empty. And last one, our conditional button enable. And we've done. So we're subscribing to conditional button event and we're assigning our material to our prop. Then we're checking if it's active, if it's not, activating it and storing our agent. Then we're starting to spin it. Then we're finishing spinning here. And then we're sending what reward should be granted and to what agent. And then we're resetting everything and stopping. Okay, let's come here, save, build VS Code. No errors, good. Actually, let's bring it here. So, like you will, this one, item granter, conditional button, and slots number 16. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, so let's start. I don't need coin because I have unlimited set, but in your case, you will need that. Let's try. And as you can see, conditional button is switched off and for 5 seconds, and then it should go back to yellow. And I have my item. So now again. So you see when it was too far away, but it's rounded to smaller numbers, so it went back. Yep, so I think it's totally working. Hopefully this will help you to create interesting wheels, and not just only wheels, because with this access to materials from the verse, it opens lots of possibilities. So yeah, happy to experiment, have fun. I would like to say thank you to my all supporters. I appreciate your support. Thank you for your generosity. You can join our growing Discord community, where we like to discuss UEFN tips and tricks, showcase our work, and help each other. You can find link in the description or in the channel header. You can get project files on my Patreon or just buy me a coffee to support me. If you're interested in learning more about UEFN materials, coding, widget UI, and more, feel free to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notifications when new videos will be released. See you soon.